Hello you guys, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Michaela. As you can tell by this title, this is about my third trimester / my birth story. I did keep a notes app of different symptoms or different feelings that I had, so I'm just going to bring you guys through the third trimester, and then I'll let you guys know what the story was. She is currently 4 months old and will be 19 weeks tomorrow, which is absolutely crazy. I can't believe that much time has gone by already. Also, I just got my nails done today. I love them. Perfect for Thanksgiving tomorrow. And it's weird to think that exactly a year ago we were announcing to a few family that we were pregnant. Like, I can't believe that. Like, that is so crazy that more than a year ago we found out we were pregnant and we're telling people. So that's just cool to think back on and reminisce about. So I'm just going to hop right in for the third trimester, which is 28 to 40 weeks. So May 8th was the first entry that I put in, and I was 31 weeks and 4 days, and I said I had been uncomfortable. She likes to stretch a lot, which I like to stretch a lot, and I'm a twin, so I'm sorry, Mom. The past couple days my belly has been really itchy, but I think it could be due to sunburn. Oh, I remember because I would sit out on the deck and I would read, and so time would get away from me and I just got a sunburn. So I also think it was beginning of stretch marks because I did get them kind of bad. And I said, I've been forgetful or thinking I say something out loud and go on about it as if I've said it, what I was talking about, and people have to ask me like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? So that has been funny. I also added again, baby's been stretching a lot more. So I guess testimony to thing I said before. Hiccups are less but strong when she does have them. She pushes on my bladder a lot. I feel like I haven't needed as much sleep. Body is probably preparing me for getting up during the night and getting up early. My lower back has been popping every time I move my left leg a certain way, and sometimes it hurts. So that is still happening, and I think it's because when we took this picture, when I was getting into that position, like I was like leaning backwards. I know it pops, but I think it popped it like out really bad. So I think I need to go in. Well, I know I need to go in. I really should go in and get adjusted, but I've not done that yet. And then if I don't take my meds before bed, my legs are restless and I get crampy. Oh man, I remember that. I would get so frustrated that I couldn't fall asleep due to how restless my right calf was. It was so annoying. And then the next entry is 10 days later. I was 33 weeks, even more uncomfortable. Feels like she's sitting really low. Her kicks are so strong they hurt a little bit sometimes. Haven't been needing as much sleep. Was up last night playing Zelda till 3 a.m. and woke up at 9:45 a.m. and feel pretty okay. Your body definitely prepares itself for birth. Like, it's crazy. Like, I didn't feel like I needed so much sleep anymore. I needed less to feel refreshed. I couldn't wrap my head around that. The next entry I had was June 26th, 38 weeks. Last Tuesday, I went out to coffee and then walked around Walmart. After getting home, my back was killing me and has hurt consistently ever since. I got tummy aches and nausea off and on. Nausea today, I think. And then July 8th. So her due date was July 6th. So this is 2 days after that. 40 weeks and 2 days. Started having stomach pain at 12:30 a.m. Pretty intense. Got up to pee and it hurt. Off and on pain until 2:30, and I didn't think I'd be able to fall asleep. Felt a couple pains in the morning and still had lower back pain all day, but otherwise felt fine. Been losing a lot of discharge today. Stretch marks gotten worse. Been waking up more frequently during the night. Have to pee or use nose spray. Oh my word. Nose spray has been the lifesaver of all of this. My congestion has been bad pretty much since the beginning. Like, ever since I found out I was pregnant, I had to use nose spray at night, and then as it got into the second and third trimester, I had to use it during the day. It was so annoying having to use nose spray or like blow my nose all the time, and it being cold or walking around it'd be fine, but then as soon as I would lay down or be warm, plugged right up. I was so annoyed by it. July 9th, 5 a.m. just went to the bathroom and had a big string of discharge, and I was like, is this my mucus plug? Because it was like bigger than normal. And then July 13th, the day she was born. Contractions started because Nathan had a car accident. I don't remember what time it was, but it was like early afternoon, late morning, and everybody was telling me like, oh, this is gonna set your labor, like start you in labor. And I kept being like, nah, I don't think so. Like, it's not stressing me out. That happening to him made me go in like, I don't know, protective mode, I guess. I don't know. But I just felt really worried for him. That didn't feel like stressful. I knew he'd be okay. He got to the hospital, and on my way there, actually, I was having like Braxton Hicks. I forgot to mention the 2 days before, the 11th and the 12th, I had these Braxton Hicks or early labor. I don't really know, but it was on and off throughout the day, and I kept being like in denial, but Scott was just like, just go ahead and track the contractions or whatever, Braxton Hicks, whatever you want to call them. It's fine. And so the 11th had some in the morning, but I didn't keep track until later in the day. So like 232 was the first one I had. And these, mind you, these are all like really light. They're not like painful or anything. I could still like talk and everything. But I remember like we went shopping these days, or one of the days, and I had to like stop walking once or twice. Like I remember we were in Dunham's, and I just like, it like surprised me. I was just like so I was just in denial the whole time. I'll say that right now. I was in denial the whole time up until 2:30 in the morning on the 13th. So yeah. I didn't want to believe it. Yeah, so 232, 254, 321, 347, 357, 502, 554, 601, 614, 623, 631, 710. And then I stopped keeping track for the rest of the night, I think. And then the 12th, 12:23 a.m., 1:09 a.m. Had some during the day on the way to and at the hospital for Nathan's accident, but didn't keep track. And then after the hospital, we went to their house and hung out for a little bit, chatted, and then 10:55 I think was like when it was like started to be more aggressive about it. And then I was driving home, and at 11:13 I looked at the clock as I was driving home, and then got home, and then was just in bed, and then 11:48. Now it's the 13th, so 12:04, 12:11, 12:22, 12:28, 12:34, 12:41, 12:53, 1 a.m, 1:06. Lots of sharp back pain. So before this, I was sideways laying on the bed and just like pushing on my lower back because it hurt, but it wasn't like I couldn't fall asleep. It was just like a nuisance. But at 1:06 a.m, that lot of sharp back pain, I knew I wasn't gonna go to sleep. But I don't know why I didn't be like, this is it. I was just glad that Scott was home and didn't have to call him and be like, it's time. And then 1:13, 1:19, tried going to sleep, and then 1:31 hurts worse. 1:35 got up to pee, just belly pain. Like I was sitting on the toilet, kind of leaned over a little bit, and it was just the belly pain. And then 1:38 belly pain, and then 1:43, 1:46, 1:50, 1:55, 1:58, 2:03, 2:08, and then I got Scott up around 2 or something like that, and I think I got him up after the 2:03 one, because at the 2:08 one, I put Scott push on my lower back, and that helps a lot. And then 2:16 a.m, intense belly pain. And then 2:20, 2:32, 2:34, 2:38, 2:40, 2:42, 2:45, 2:58, 3:01, and 3:09. 3:09 was the last one that I kept track of, and then Scott kept trying to get me to text Sandra, our midwife, but I was just like, no, I don't know if this is it, and I didn't believe it. We texted Sandra at 2:31 actually, so Scott texted her, and then I sent her the notes app, just letting her know all the times. I'm having pretty bad pain in my lower back and belly. I've been keeping track of what times in my notes app. The pain doesn't fully go away in between either. Then she just let us know, like, let us know whenever you want us to be there, and then asked how long are they lasting, and I said they feel pretty intense, and Scott says they're at least a minute long. I have to have Scott push pretty hard on my back for counter pressure to be able to get through them. And then she said they would be on their way at 3:10, and they're about a half hour away. And then this is when Scott really took over my phone and everything, and like I couldn't think about anything else. He was asking if he should fill up the pool. Kayla likes a hot compress on her back and she wants to sit in the hot tub. Should I start to fill it up or no? And then she was just answering him, and then he went out into the living room, and then they were here. So the contractions started on the bed. I was laying down and I was pushing for myself, and then Scott took over the pushing on my back around 2:08, and then I was like going hands and knees or standing and leaning over on the bed, because we have 3 layers, like 2 frame type things and then our mattress, so it was like pretty high, so I could lean over. And then I sat on the ball, and then I sat on the toilet for a little while, and then Scott was filling up the pool, and then I got in the pool, but I just kept slipping and sliding. It felt good for a little bit. The hot water felt good on my belly, but then I just got uncomfortable sitting in there, and I kept sliding, and I had to push with my legs and keep myself from moving, and I just was not a fan of the tub anymore. And then we went back to the toilet, and I like sat backwards on it, and then this is when my body started bearing down for me or by itself. So that's when the contractions got like pretty bad, because my body would push for me, and I didn't like it. Throughout all of this, I was just keeping my eyes closed and then humming or going like keeping my voice real low. Scott was so helpful. He had his hands fisted pushing on my lower back. Hold on, I think she's getting upset, so we'll be right back and then you guys can see her. Here she is. Hi, babes. You look at the camera. Say hi, everybody. Okay, where was I? I think I left off where I was bearing down on the toilet. After that, they set up a birthing stool, and I got on that, and you're kind of like, you have somebody behind you too, like, so I could lean into Scott and he could push on my back, and it's kind of like shaped like this, so like you're sitting on it like this, so like the bottom is like totally out or like not there or whatever, like you're just barely sitting on it. So Sandra was checking how far along I was progressing, and she said she could feel her head, so I was like, oh my goodness, like she's farther along than I thought, like farther down than I thought she was, because she still felt like it wasn't like in there, you know, like it's hard to tell how far down she really was. So when she said she felt her head, I was like, oh my goodness, like she could be here really soon. But I don't remember the times. I just remember at like 4 maybe, Scott's parents came and grabbed Louis and grabbed his kennel, grabbed his food, so he left, and he was getting anxious before that. He barked at Sandra, was whining, crying, you know, just very worried or just overwhelmed with what was going on. So they grabbed him around 4:30. I don't really know. Again, I kept my eyes closed most of the time, was just praying that everything would be all right and was going well, going smooth. And I don't remember what time it was, but it was light outside by now, and they suggested that we move to the bed. And so I tried to sit forward. I had a contraction, so I had to sit back. I tried to stand up, had a contraction, I had to sit back down. Tried to stand up again, I got another contraction, had to sit back down. And then the next time I think I got a contraction when I stood up, I think I just stayed standing. And then after that, I just like quickly went down the hall. I mean, our hallway's short, so I hurried down the hallway. Sandra helped me, but when I was crawling up onto the bed, I'm like on hands and knees, and oh my word, it was the worst belly pain I'd ever felt. Like it felt like somebody was grabbing my belly and just like, you know, it just hurt so bad. And then I went like kind of on my back, kind of on my side, and I had one knee out like this and then one knee up kind of like that. Then I didn't need Scott to counter pressure on my back. It was mostly in my belly now that I was laying on my back. They kept doing hot compresses, and I couldn't express to you how nice that felt, how soothing and warm and comforting that was. That was really nice. They kept switching them out, and then I actually got to see her crown. So we had my little hand mirror out, and she let me see like on a contraction her head like started to poke out, and then I got to see her when it was more like the ring of fire, I guess, and then I got to touch her head. I don't remember if it was before then or not, but I got to touch her head, and I got to see that her hair was dark I had been debating whether her hair would be light or dark, because I think Scott's hair was really light, and my dad's hair was really light, and my mom's hair was really light, and my sister's hair was really light when they were born. So really debating on whether she would have light or dark hair, but I'm so glad she has dark hair, just like her mom. And then Scott was so cute. He didn't tell me until way after that he had cried, hearing me in pain and seeing me in such pain and not being able to do anything really for me at all except for pushing on my back, and I thought that was really sweet. But he just got to be behind me and hold me and talk to me and pray, and that was really nice. The plan was for him to catch her, but we found out later that she had both hands up under her neck, up under her chin, so that made things difficult. Oh, that was why things weren't progressing on the birthing chair and why we moved to the bed, because when Sandra was feeling, Felicity couldn't get like under bone or something. I don't know, she was having trouble like progressing, and then gravity made it so to where she could come down. But I got to see her at the Ring of Fire and just got to see big chunk of her head, like obviously a lot smaller than what her head is right now, but got to see the top of her head, and then just trying to work with my contractions and my body bearing down as well, but trying not to let it take over, I guess, because I really wanted to make sure that I was pushing slowly so that I wouldn't tear, because I hear like if you go fast then your body doesn't have time to do the stretching, and I really did not want to tear. So I tried to wait for a little bit before our contraction to get started, and then I would feel my body bearing down, and then I eased my body into it and then let my body take over in the middle, and then it kind of felt like my body would just like, you're gonna keep pushing. So I kind of had to like take in the reins a little bit so that I wouldn't get too tired. I definitely got out of breath one time that I did let that happen, so I would just breathe in between, and the contractions were really close together. I just kept listening to my midwives, and they were so helpful and uplifting, and they saying just like that, like breathe just like that, you're doing great, amazing, she'll be here so soon, just all those kind of things. So then I finally got to see her whole head, and looking from my perspective, her head was facing that way. So I got to see the side of her face, and she was really like dark and purple. And then Sandra didn't even like gesture for Scott to come catch her, because I think she realized like her hands were literally like up like that. So I then felt like I was a cow, basically, just how she had to maneuver and get her arms out safely. I was just like, like this is the moment that she's here. And then she pulled her out on one last contraction. Well, I don't know if it was one more contraction. I think she just pulled her. I really don't know. But then they got to put her on my chest, kind of lower on my abdomen actually. And then she was not breathing great. She was just very mucusy, so we had to do like the, boogie sucker we call it. I don't know what it's called. But I had to do that, and then we had to do the long one where it goes like in, and then Sandra was like sucking it out. So that was a little scary, but throughout it all I was just praying and knowing that God had her in his hand and that she was going to be okay, because at the very beginning she was prayed for, throughout the whole pregnancy she was prayed for by so many people, and I just never felt discomfort or worry about her birth or pregnancy. I just felt amazing about her all the time. So when she was born, it was 10:35 a.m., 7 pounds, 13 ounces, which I think is just so cool, because the date that she was born is 7/13, and she was 7 pounds, 13 ounces. That's just so cool to me. And then she was 22 inches long, and I don't remember the circumference of her head. So that is how everything went. After they weighed her, I think I have a video of it.
Yep. Yep. All right, you gotta come right up off the bed.
All right, well, this or just this?
Yep, just the
No,
top.
oh, well, you want to turn it where he can see it.
All right, yep, and you need to get her right up off the bed.
You can use two hands because she's going to be shaky holding the
Okay,
weight.
so 7, it looks like 7,
She up?
13, yep, 7, 13.
I think she was going to be close to
Yeah.
8 pounds.
Wow. And Scott got to hold her for the first time, and I have a video of that, so I can insert all of those.
Hey, Felicity.
I like her name.
Hi.
Cute.
Hi, sweetie. You have such beautiful eyes. Hi. Hi. You know who I am? You recognize my voice? Yeah, you can see me.
What's her labia?
Hi.
So then after they got her cleaned up and weighed and checked out and all the things, I got to take like a herbal bath. But getting up, oh my word, when I sat up, of course all your organs are like pushed to the outer rim of your body, and then after she's born they don't move back yet because you haven't sat up yet. So when I sat up, gravity just took it and just it dropped. Like I could feel it all just, and then I was so out of breath. And I also couldn't sit straight up either. I had to go off on an angle because I did tear just a little bit though. Like if you're looking at the very bottom, it tore, and then maybe look a little bit on the side. Like it was hardly anything at all. It's all fine now. So it took an hour bath, or maybe 45 minutes in there, and she got to be in there with me. I think I had Scott take a few pictures. She was crying when she first set her feet in it, but then as soon as I started like washing or putting water over her head, she calmed right down, just like, oh, just felt like she was back in the room, I'm thinking. So that was really cute and really wholesome to experience with her. You want your passy? Scott brought her in the nursery and he put her in her first outfit, and I have the TikTok of that. And then I got into my pajamas and we got in bed. We spent the whole day in bed and just enjoying cuddling her. And then we had told people, I don't remember what time during the night, in the middle of the night, we had told people like it was time and that we would update them as well as we could, and that we would let them know obviously when she was here. So we let everybody know when she arrived, and we sent them pictures. Maybe I didn't send them pictures. We FaceTimed Steph and Ozzy because they were somewhere overseas. So they were like the first people to really see her, I think, except for maybe Scott's dad. I think Scott sent a picture of her, very first picture of where she's like purple. And then we had people over around dinner time. Scott is playing video games downstairs, so I'm sorry if you can hear that. Anyways, we had people over after dinner, and we had my grandma on my mom's side and the parents come in first. I don't think Scott's grandma was there yet. No, I think she got there later. So my grandma was the first one to hold her, and then my mom and dad got to hold her, Todd and Tina got to hold her, and then after that we had them leave the room, and then the siblings come in so then everybody else could hold her. I didn't want to feel overwhelmed, so we had the office made up for me to lay down or like half sit up and whatnot, so that it just wouldn't be overwhelming for me, wouldn't be overwhelming for her. So that was nice that we did that. I don't regret doing that at all. It just made it more personal, and everybody could really connect and see her close up and cuddle her. And then my brother, he had worked that day, so he didn't come until maybe 8:30 that night. He got off a couple hours early to come, so then he got to hold her, and then he stayed for a while, and then we finally got to take pictures of her. But I took pictures of her that I had posted on my Instagram. When my sister and her husband got back from their trip a few days later, they got to come over. They were jet lagged. They had just gotten home, but they wanted to come see her, so they got to hold her for the first time. I was actually pretty much bedridden until closer to 2 weeks. So she was born on a Thursday, and so by the next Thursday I was feeling a little bit better, but then we still stayed home. So like the next Thursday after that, I was able to walk around more. I had my breath better when I was upright. So Scott was such a huge help. He pretty much did everything. Obviously he couldn't breastfeed her, but he could change her diapers, give her a bottle, put her to bed, snuggle her, because I had a really hard time being able to even sit up because it was just very painful to sit. So I'm for sure getting one of those pillows that looks like a donut so that I can sit without pain. I think that is pretty much it for the birth story and everything. If you guys have any other questions, please let me know. I forgot something, I will add it in if you guys ask. But here she is, 4 months old. She has been so strong too. There you go, such a big girl. I don't know what she's looking at, but she is using her legs. I'm just keeping her from toppling forward. She does have 2 birthmarks. She has this one at the back of her head, or back of her neck. There you go. And then one like, oh, you're gonna lean back. Where are you going? Kind of more in her hair. You can kind of see. It gets more pronounced if she's upset. There you go. I won't have them look anymore. I love you. I probably could do like a nursery tour right now. I'm in the midst of reorganizing. Like obviously from the first trimester video, you can see that I'm in a different corner. I was in that corner. This one has the flower. We have her changing table up here. Putting away 0 to 3 month clothes because those are too small now. We have her blanket ladder or blanket shelves or whatever. Her crib here, the blanket ladder over there. We just hung these curtains. They're supposed to be blackout, but they are not. And then that. And those are her 14-week ultrasound pictures. I think 14-week. So that is all for this room. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see more Felicity, subscribe and comment below if you have kids or if you have any questions, let me know. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.